Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we're going to spend some time up here at the chicken coop. I had my sweet boy Jackson. He was helping me this morning. We are definitely working smarter, not harder. We used the bobcat to drill some holes because had replaced the Kwanzaa cherry tree that got destroyed in Helene. And then I am working on planting my stash. So that is what we are doing today. Up here at the chicken coop, getting some new shrubs in the ground for the fall and just cleaning up after Helene because it is still a bit of a mess up here and this garden has been neglected. So like I said, Jackson was here with me this morning working smarter, not harder with the bobcat and drilling some holes because this is by far the absolute worst soil on our property here in North Carolina is Zone 8A. Up here at the chicken coop, this garden is I don't know, not even maybe 18 months old. And so all of this is brand new. And yes, this is absolutely horrible, thick red clay, very compacted, lots of tree roots in here because remember we had pines in here before we put the chicken coop up. And so very little organic matter. And we have not had any rain since Helene, which has been right at a month now. So things are very dry and very compact. In the storm, if you will remember, we had our neighbor's pine tree. It was a massive pine tree. It was planted, living back here, and when it fell, it came and just took out this entire garden. Still have some plants that are damaged by it. The canopy landed on our Kwanzaa, and so we got a new Kwanzaa and replaced that other one because it literally snapped it in half. So there was no way we could save that Kwanzaa. I do love having the cherry tree here though, because if you're familiar with Kwanzaas, they are like one of those iconic flowering cherry trees made famous in Washington, D.C. with the cherry festival right every spring. Does gorgeous double pink blooms. For us it'll bloom sometime in like that April area, it's really kind of, I think one of the ones, I believe it's the one in the middle. So you have Okami, Kwanzaa, and Yoshino's. I want to say Kwanzaa's in the middle. I could be totally wrong on that. It doesn't matter when it blooms because it is drop dead gorgeous. Those double pink, beautiful blooms, hardy in zones of 5 to 9. At maturity, it could be 30 to 40 feet tall and wide. We'll see. Hopefully the pine trees stop taking out my Kwanzaas. So we got that one planted. This is a nice, beautiful one. It was 15 gallons. Got it from one of our nurseries that we get some of our trees from. So got it nice in the ground with the biotone. I did spread a little bit of land and sea around it. And then you can see that I have my watering bag already going. This is, y'all, I got them off of Amazon. You're gonna see me use them in multiple times today. But this holds 15 gallons of water. You see I have the hose right there. It reminds me very much of a pool float. It has 2 emitters underneath it. So that 15 gallons, it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to drip down into the soil. It is a great way to really do a deep watering on your, those shrubs and trees that you need to have good water. So that is what is happening there. What we're going to go ahead and do with the holes that are dug, I'm just probably going to go around, let's go first and do a little mini tour, okay? A little mini tour while we're standing here. You can see what I'm talking about with our red clay. People ask all the time, they're like, is there a filter on the video? Are you trying to show different color? No, that really is our red clay, and it is it's in the shade right now. So what's going to go here is the Winecraft Black Smoke Bush. I had it in a container. It outgrew the container and it really was not getting the sun that it needed. So it is going to go here. It is going to be gorgeous next to my Nellie Stevens holly. Of course, figgy, as we call it. This is a fig tree. And then we have the firelight hydrangeas. Obviously, this is on the back side of the terrace garden. It is going to fill this in and give me gorgeous color and texture difference. Cannot wait. So Winecraft Black will go there. And then I have 2 native azaleas that are going to go in. So if you're not familiar with native azaleas, they are a deciduous azalea. They are not kind of that typical azalea that you think of, especially in the South, that always blooms right around Easter. Native azaleas are deciduous. They're going to get anywhere in that like 4, 5, 6 foot tall and wide range, and they come in some gorgeous colors. You can have, like I have a Gibraltar, which is behind me. It is like flaming orange. And then we have what we're going to do today is a yellow one and a white one. So I have them here. I was giving them some water, trying to get them watered before we get them in the ground. So we'll talk more about the details of those, but it is Snowbird and Lemon Lights. Those two are going to come in the back of the bed here on either side of the Limelights. So we're going to stick one in this hole, and then as we come down, we will stick one on the other side of this Limelight. The Gibraltar is right here, so then we'll have 3 of those all throughout here. They are absolutely stunning. Sometimes native azaleas can be hard to find just because they're very unique. So if you see them and you enjoy them, grab them. They do best in that filtered sun, not really shade, but just like that filtered light. And so that should be just fine back here where those are gonna go. So we've got those 2 that are gonna go in. I've got a pot that I may do. I've got to clean up my poor bosque elm. I really went back and forth and debated on whether do I leave the bosque elm or do I go ahead and take it out. I was ready to take it out and put the Vitex in, the Rocksteady Vitex in. Jerry was like, no, let's leave it. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we'll leave it till the spring, see what it does. But you can see that it too, like all of this was from the tree damage, y'all. When that pine tree fell, pine trees, like most trees, they have a huge canopy. So when they fall, it's not, yes, the trunk can do like structural damage, but it's that canopy that does all sorts of like the little fine damage. So you can see right where we had like a major limb that got kind of pulled off, so that's gone. Some little branches up here on the top, we lost a good little piece of bark right here, so there was a limb here, so that got torn off, and then some breakage. So I guess I will go ahead, I will come in here, try to clean it up, limb it up a little bit. We'll leave her, we'll see what she does. Time will tell. And then I've just got sticks and all sorts of other things to get taken care of. So we're just gonna do a little bit of everything in here. It is just one of those kind of those housekeeping days that I need to take care of, give some love and attention to this garden. Jackson also helped me put back my cedar post. So this is just, it was a cedar tree that we cut it down. Something was going on, I think on the creek bank, or it was somewhere that we were, and we had to clean out an area, and we had this beautiful cedar tree. And so I adore cedar trees. It's actually upside down, right? So the thick part would be like where the butt is, and then the top. But I love the structure of this and have such fun, unique interest to it. So all it is just planted, buried in the ground, and then I had a birdhouse that was sitting on top of it. And you can see what's left of my birdhouse. Yeah, the tree took it out too. I do believe there is another one just like it at the nursery, so I may or may not go and borrow it for my garden over here. But it goes on top of the cedar post, and the birds love it. Like the bluebirds were in it and making nests all last year, so we need to replace it. So anyway, we're going to get these babies in the ground, and then we're going to go into some great detail about all of these plants because they are such fun plants. They're going to extend that 4 seasons of interest, right? We're all about 4 seasons of interest, so that's what we're working on today here at the Chicken Coop. My friends, it has been a very productive day here at the chicken coop. I really have just absolutely taken my time up here today. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I think we got started up here like around 9. So I literally have been up here all day, just kind of gardening for the joy of gardening. Some things I filmed because I want to show them to you. And honestly, some things I didn't because I just wanted to piddle in the garden. That's what my mama and I call it when we're just doing, you do a little something here, you do a little something there. You just kind of flit and float from space to space. So that is what I was doing. And it feels nice to be in here. Not that everything is perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. Perfect is only found in the dictionary. Keep that in mind, my friends. But it is much improved, and it definitely got some love that it needed. I tried to work with the sun because it may be the end of October, but it's the end of October in North Carolina, and it is quite toasty. So we are quite warm. So I tried to work with the sun as best as I can. I want to go through and show you everything that I did and kind of give you some more information about the plants because we just kind of glossed over in the beginning. Of course, if you have any kind of questions or you want any kind of more information, feel free to look these things up. That's what I was doing because some of these are what we call non-branded. They're just in a black pot. They don't belong to a certain plant company. So you can get them at various different nurseries and online and that kind of thing like that. Start with the Winecraft Black Smoke Bush. Now, y'all, you're going to have to use your imagination because right now the smoke bush is sticks. It is alive. It is not dead. It was in an aquapot at the nursery and it just outgrew the aquapot and was not happy. So we pulled it out 2 days ago, I think it was, and plopped it in. Now, I'm going to be very excited with how this thing goes, and because I have the Winecraft Gold in the berm, and y'all, it is spectacular. So I'm very excited about the black, having it between the holly and the fig, because this can get easy in that like 6x6 range. So yes, it absolutely can fill in this entire area. I did go ahead with all of my plantings today. I use, of course, your Biotone Starter fertilizer, then native soil all went back on top of it, a bag of land and sea around, and a bag of the pine bark. That is going to hold in the moisture. With the Winecraft Black, I went ahead and did the water bag. You can see it is empty. So that was, a couple hours ago, and it has already gotten nice and watered in. There is some foliage on here, just little buds. But if you're not familiar with those smoke bushes, y'all, they are spectacular. They have this gorgeous color to them. After they bloom, those little seed heads, they look like they're on fire, like it's smoke, hence its name. Loves the sun. It will do really well right here. So I am quite excited about this Winecraft Black Smoke Bush. And then, of course, we've already talked about the Kwanzan. Kwanzan is up here doing fine. The water bag is empty as well. This is a paperbark maple that we planted when we did all of the trees, and very happy with this, y'all. I have not really watered it. It's not on irrigation. Did not water it really throughout the season, and doing really nicely. Of course, it's starting to show some of that lovely red color to it, and it is called a paperbark maple because the bark actually is peeling, and so that gives it a lot of fun interest. So there you go. This is my seat top. I was able to, had to kind of move the stands, the feet of the bench, so Jackson could get in. So I just need somebody else to help me with that one because that one's a doozy. Now, I also went ahead and pruned, cleaned up the Bosque elm. After I cleaned it up, I felt more encouraged. I think that definitely helped. I was really not sure how that was going to turn out, but go ahead and getting it cleaned up, trimming up some of those limbs, obviously that were broken, and then cleaning up here on the bottom. I think it'll be okay. I gave her a really good deep watering. I kind of buried the hose nozzle right here and just left it running for about 10 minutes to give her a good deep drink of water. So yeah, I feel encouraged, and clearly she's doing okay because she still has all of her green growth, right? So these were the little petals from the flowers. So this is not dead foliage. These were the little flowers. So that's what the brown is on that. But yeah, all nice, pretty green growth. So I think we might be okay on that one, y'all. Got the birdhouse I sent Jackson. We did have one back at the nursery. So yeah, I got a fresh little birdhouse, put it back up on to the cedar post, so my little bluebirds can come back and be very happy in their little home. We didn't talk about it, but obviously I did it. So I have a unique stone container here. And one of my plants in my stash was this blue zinger carex. I have a lot of carexes up here because they're just great plants. They're evergreen. They like that sun to part shade. They do really well. Blue zinger, now y'all, yes, it looks a little rough, hence why I had to get it out of my stash and into a pot. So it was really root bound, and I just couldn't keep the water on it, and I may have forgotten to water it for a couple of days. She'll bounce back. So I got it in this nice columnar, very upright planter from Unique Stone. I think this is called like the Beau Jardiniere because it has a pretty bow on it, very original. So this will do quite nicely in here. Now again, none of these beds are on irrigation. So when we have such extreme dryness like we do right now, then I have to hand water. So maybe at some point we'll put it on irrigation, but not now. Now we're on the back side, obviously, of the bed, looking, towards the chicken coop on the back side of the limelights. And this is where we have snowbird. So just to give you a little bit of reference, because I want you to see like the big picture here. Okay. So right here, this is Gibraltar. No, it's not. This is the one from Southern Living. I will go back and look at the name. It is from Southern Living, and it is a native azalea. I do know that it is flaming orange. So there we go. Okay, so it's not Gibraltar, sorry. Bold orange native azalea right here. Then we have Snowbird, which is going to be white, and then we have Lemon Lights, which is obviously going to be yellow. Native azaleas, again, they are deciduous. They're going to lose all their leaves. They bloom before they get their foliage. And you can in fact see where I have my buds already are popping out, right? It shouldn't be blooming now at all, but I'm just hoping that these are the buds for next year. Snowbird, as its name suggests, is going to be a pure white. Roughly, your native azaleas are going to be in that 4, 5, 6 foot range, maybe 3 to 4 feet wide, right? They can do that sun, part shade. So it was getting some really good sun, and so it was shade, sun, and shade. So you take your total number of hours, and then there you go. I think she should be fine. Again, y'all, when you saw me, I am an educator, right? Went to school, I have an education degree. So yeah, naturally I am a teacher at heart. So when you're planting shrubs, trees, whatever it may be, I like to show you like what I do. And a couple of situations. One, if you have those irrigation bags, those are amazing. Use those. But maybe you don't have them, or you want to get them but you can't find them, whatever the case may be. What I did with my azaleas, I could have gotten the bags and brought them over here, but I wanted to show you something different. So what I did is I had my hole, right? Jackson had me my hole, put the biotone in, make sure my level was right, and put the plant in. Then I got the hose, and I just let the hose run as I was putting the soil back. Straight native soil, getting it nice and soaked in there. The plant itself was already wet, getting that hole really well saturated. I'm bringing that soil back in and kind of stepping on it, right? Getting those air pockets out with that clay, and then brought all that native soil back and kept getting it nice and wet and wet and wet. Put a bag of land and sea around it because, as you could tell, we have zero organic material up here. There is no organic material. It is all straight red clay. I'm trying to amend as much as I can, but I like to top dress. If you wanted to put a little bit and mix it in, you could, but don't put too much, right? We want this native soil for them to get used to it. They love acidic soil, so this will be perfect for them. And then I put a whole bag of the Daddy Peat all around it. I want to lock in the moisture. I want to add as much amendments as I possibly can to feed the plant. And of course, the Daddy Peat is the pine bark fines, so that is only going to help with the acidity level of the soil for the azaleas. So if you don't have those tree bags, you can even get a 5-gallon bucket of water and pour the 5-gallon bucket of water in the hole and then add your soil back. Deep saturation. I'm not going to have to worry about watering this because tomorrow I'm going to be out. I'm not going to be here. And then it's Saturday. I'll be at the nursery. I could come up here and give it a little bit of water, but I'm not going to be able to have time to come up here for the next several days in a row and do some watering. So I'm not going to have to because I did that. So that is an option for you if you have extreme dry temperature soil and you can't water every single day. It's just an option for you to do that. So that is the snowbird. Now then, lemon lights, as its name suggests, is a bright, very cherry yellow flower. Again, fragrant. Your pollinators love them. Early spring color. They can get some height to them because keep in mind, when this is blooming, my hydrangeas are just going to be sticks and I'll have to cut them down. So they will be pruned, and then you're going to see these azaleas in the back shining in all of their glory. So lemon lights is a really fun, bright, cheery yellow, will be absolutely fantastic in here. So another thing that in my piddling and tinkering that I was doing in here that I did not show you, I had two more Carexes. You know that I love the Everillo grasses. And so, in fact, Cece had them at the nursery and she was like, Jenny, can't you use these somewhere? She said they are so root bound, I can't keep enough water on them and they're starting to look bad. And I was like, well, of course I can, Cece. So you can see here in my pot, I went ahead and put both of them in there. It is a wide, but relatively shallow pot. They will be fine there through the winter, maybe even through next summer. Maybe this time next year I need to pop them out and put them in the ground. Who knows? But for now, there's plenty of room in that pot for them. So I like having the Everillo here. I also have it in other parts of the garden, and then Feather Falls. So Feather Falls is a Carex as well. So I've got 3 Carexes in containers in this area. The Feather Falls has been here all summer long, and y'all, thriving, absolutely fantastic. So again, water it this time of year, I don't know, once a week, and it does absolutely fine. Over here in the nice shady area, I got the big sticks picked up, so the sticks are gone. We still have to deal with this pine tree from Helene. It obviously uprooted and it is hung up in a tree, actually a tree that got toppled in the storm in May where we had the flooding. This poor little garden has been through it, y'all. So you can see this is the tree that's uprooted. Then this is the tree that the top is snapped out of, but it's still like this is the top of the tree, and then it's still connected way up here. That's in the middle of a gully, so nobody's walking back there, but it's going to take some, I mean, we can handle this, and plus then you can see this tree. Remember, that tree was the one that was hung up also, so it has no top, so it needs to come out. So we've got a lot of lumberjacking to do up here, but we're gonna wait until it is much cooler. We do not, there is not an imminent danger here because we're not going back there. Obviously this is not open to the public. This is a private garden. So nobody is back there. So we don't have any danger in this garden, but it's going to have a lot of work done to it because of getting the trees out and then the machinery that will be in here. We can all do it. We can do it ourselves, but it's gonna require some things. So some of the plants might have to get moved, and then because we're losing so many trees right here from those 2 storms, I've got way more sun than I was anticipating. So we might have to either dig those plants up and move them further back into the deep shade, or just move them somewhere else completely and put more sun tolerant plants in there. So this is an area that is going to need some work, but hanging in there. Everybody's doing well, just, you know, typical life here at Creekside, just hanging in there and doing all the fun things. But it feels good to have all of that done. I feel like I have been productive. I have gotten things checked off the list. I have gotten plants planted that were in my stash, because it is, at this point, it is better for them to be in the ground than it is to be in those pots. I still have a couple of stashes in different places. We'll get to them at some point, but just one little piece at a time, right? So as always, we hope you found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll see you on the next video. Bye, friends.